Sorry, Robin, we interrupted.
Welcome back. It's good to be it's Thursday. It's good to be rolling dice, and it's good to be amongst friends. As our characters are settling themselves in for an evening, or rather an afternoon of litigations, we see the Sword Coast filled with quite a bit of turmoil, as both Waterdeep and now Baldur's Gate faces quite a bit of, change in its near future. Waterdeep already coming through the chaos of the Winchester shields. Baldur's Gate has only just started to succumb to their terrible wrath. This evening, we find the players looking forward to a law case. Todd v. Todd. Who owns the family crest? Who gets to determine the future of the mercantile regime in Baldur's Gate? Tonight, we will find out. Now, over to our players. Can somebody tell me what happened last session that led us to this very auspicious occasion?
We essentially had a game of Monopoly and won.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the short answer, right?
Yeah.
There was a puzzle realm. We did puzzles. There was a puzzle master. He got puzzling, and he didn't win. Really. I mean, if you want to break it out a little bit, we kind of, was it a box that we touched that we opened up inside? We thought we were all good. And the next thing you know, we're stuck in the puzzle realm. The puzzle master's there. He was, just taunting us again. He's just, I hear his voice in my like, when I'm asleep and I'm trying to just be calm, and then I hear him at the back of my voice, it's like back of my head, just taunting us. And I feel like he got what he deserved.
We faced a wall.
A wall?
Yeah, we faced a wall with a giant hand, a beholder, and an infinite set of stairs.
Yeah.
And we came out on top.
And some scales.
We
Scales.
Oh, talk us through
we
the scales.
passed go and we collected $200.
Sort of $1 million. Talk us through the scales incident, Dave.
So the puzzle master set before us a tough puzzle where we would have to choose who in our team would be sacrificed so the others could be saved. He gave us a set of scales and kind of split the team up, and whoever was willing to make the biggest sacrifice, the kind of scales were tipped in their favour and they would be saved. And it started out with a little bit of an auction, and then a certain somebody decided to just kind of tip the scales on their head and called on their god to intervene. And it was just brilliant, just absolutely fantastic. God arrives, right, rocks up to the game. He's like, hey, yo, what up? I'm God of Justice. This is all a little bit dicey.
Scales are my jam.
Yeah, scales are my jam, right? So Tyr rocks up and he's like, this is what I'm all about. And so instead of it being two groups of split in half party groups on the scales, he actually split it so it was the group on one side and the puzzle master on the other. And you can imagine if you're the puzzle master who set up the team to fail, that he was not excited about this. So he thought he'd quickly be able to get there, but Xander was like, I got to take one for the team. He looked around at his new friends and he gave up his sacrifice to his god. He was a mercenary of Tempest, and he sacrificed that to save the group. And as a result, he showed up a little bit later and rewarded him with a nice new hammer and connected himself to Xander Almaza. And now Xander has a sweet, pure gold hammer that he's willing to, test out.
Hell yeah.
And now we got Justice Bros.
We got some Justice Bros.
And tonight we will surely see if justice will be served. But
Tyr twins.
It's as you guys are busy celebrating finally having the Todd patriarch behind bars, that you get the summons of a case to be made in the defense of him either being let free and being forcefully returned to his place as the patriarch, or as an opportunity for Red to finally put him away for good. You get a knock on the door, which is answered by your butler, who brings to you, Red, a sealed envelope from the court. Sir, this is came for you just this day.
Thank you, Ben Spoke. And I open the letter.
My pleasure, sir. You read upon it, the party which is to stand against Todd has been invited to make their case in front of the judge the midday tomorrow. And you see the date there of tomorrow. If you do not arrive, the court will side with the defendant, and we will make this all completed. And you see the stamp of the court on the bottom of it.
See, they say midday, but what they mean is from any time from midday till whenever they close. Like, it doesn't actually mean the trial's going to start at that time. As I explained to the party, the court system.
It's Baldur's Gate timing, you know. It's whenever everybody gets there. They got busy lives. They got things to sell, people to enslave. It's just a normal day.
Yeah, normal day. Yeah.
I tell you this just on, no matter what time we start, justice will be served.
Yes, by you, the Mace of Justice, and me, the Warhammer of Justice. Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds so gay.
A little bit.
Oh, look at me, we're the Justice crew.
Bear, you missed out on the fun stuff last session.
George,
I have
jealous.
Mate, I don't need to be jealous of swinging a big thing around. It's fine. I got that covered.
Yes, no, well, not at the moment though, Bear.
Yeah.
Jim's not stuck down there at the moment, mate.
I need a tie.
Oh, Ben Spoke.
Yes, sir.
Can you find the largest tie that we own and give it to my good friend Beowulf here for tomorrow? We have court.
Right away, sir. As Ben Spoke walks off and finds his way bustling through the house trying to find the tie.
I actually had a plan for tomorrow. I've been thinking a little bit about this because my father, even though he's stripped currently of the estate, he does still hold a lot of power within Baldur's Gate. I have two options. I can either turn into a dragon and just stomp on him. I don't know how that'll go over. Or I've got a spell. You might actually know this spell, the Zone of Truth spell, Xander.
Yes, definitely an option. The Zone of Truth. What will you compel him to talk to you about while using this spell?
Well, the funny thing about this spell is, if it takes effect, it can. They can't lie within that zone, so they cannot answer questions. So, but no answer is an admission of guilt. So it'd be pretty much like, hey, did you pay bandits to murder my mother? And he says nothing. It's like, that's guilt.
Just on, I highly recommend that before you cast Zone of Truth, let me hit him with the Bane, because you don't want him to succeed or resist your attempts to influence that.
That would actually be a great help, Claymore. That would. I hadn't actually thought of that. Yes. That. And I wonder if.
Say the word pineapple.
Pineapple, like coddies.
I'll make like coddies.
Pineapple coddies.
Operation Pineapple, and consider him Bane.
Excellent.
He may talk like.
He might attack this for the entirety of the court case.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch any of that.
That sounds
it was
like
really
the lamest
bad.
Bane ever. It was like, oh my god, aisle 7, clean up aisle 7 for Bane.
It's like the train announcements for the next station.
And then...
Would you like to have that?
yes, I can. The Bane would work. I'm open to any other suggestions because we have the evidence, and I'm pretty sure I didn't give the evidence to the captain, Lucian Dragneel.
No, you just showed.
I showed
them.
the evidence. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I have the evidence. I will put that somewhere safe upon my person.
Gonna put it in the Zim sleeve.
No, that's Beowulf's.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is.
Puts a whole nother spin to the. I'll just pop that out for you.
Jesus.
Dear.
Bear, Xander, Ren, did you have any suggestions?
Well, I reckon we just got to bring the noise, all right? When shit goes south, we just rip in. If we don't get what we want, we cut his head off and we take it home with us.
I don't know how well that will go over in the court.
Jesus, you pansy courts. Back
Well,
home,
no,
we would
how about this? If shit starts to go sideways, how about Bear? This is your job. If shit goes sideways, demand a trial by combat.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. I know. It's only if shit goes sideways. That way you still get some of what you want, and you get to fight someone wearing a tie, which would be pretty cool.
If
Why do I have a worry that Bear's going to take that literally and try and shit sideways?
Literally straight away as soon as the court
In
starts.
the
Trial
court.
by combat.
God, just soil a wall.
I'm not the
Sure.
smartest dude, so it's not going to take much to make me think it's gone sideways.
Job done.
Very good.
Yeah,
justice will be served today, this hammer, it compels me to ensure that justice is served. I cannot break away from it at the moment. If things are going badly, I will listen to the hammer. You may be assured of that.
Alright, sounds like we have a somewhat decent plan. Rendon, was there anything any input from you? It's been very quiet.
It's been very quiet. You all have been discussing what may happen here, and something inside me just it stirs. Something doesn't feel right about how this is going to go.
Did you put something in your pocket then? What's in your pocket there?
What?
Ren, you don't need to put stuff in your pocket. Like,
Just put the
we
statue
got
back
the
down. Yeah,
I cannot pick and choose what justice I will see served.
I would just. I'll keep a keen eye on the proceedings and the surroundings tomorrow.
Okay.
So I have found a tie. I hope that it is to your liking.
Oh yes, of course. What is the tie? Please describe it in great detail.
So you see a tie that once may have been a normal tie, a business tie. You see that it seems to have been patched quite quickly to include some panels of other fabrics off to the side as it fattens out towards the bottom, creating quite a sort of thick end piece for it, covering would be most of the belly of an average sized person. But on Bear, you can imagine it look quite proportional. You see that your butler has taken the initiative and tailored this up to make sure that it works for your friend Bear.
Fantastic. And Ben spoke. Thank you so much. And I go and I give the tie to Bear.
My pleasure, sir.
Ben spoke
What do I do with
when. Sorry, my bad.
It goes around your neck and hangs down over your chest. Here we go. Oh, you look
Now,
fantastic.
tied in a knot. As tight
Might
as
I
you can.
say, sir, you look absolutely ravishing.
Easy, Ben spoke.
My apologies, master.
Has Bear over tightened it and is going slightly red on top?
Yes.
Ben spoke. Might you take care of Mist while we're at this proceedings tomorrow?
Sir, she will be taken care of as she was the house's own pet.
Okay, but if she runs off in a hurry, that's okay. I'm just calling her for assistance or for something.
I will let the stable hands know that she may come and go as she pleases.
Fantastic, thank you.
Pittsburgh, my father.
Yes, sir.
My father, being the man that he was, I'm fairly certain I know all the rooms in the estate. Was there anywhere that I have overlooked, possibly? Somewhere my father would go that only you would know about?
If there was a place like that, sir, I am not aware of it. Your father was many things, but he was often openly dominant. He never had the much need for subterfuge. He relied mostly on his power to maintain control, as you'd very well know.
Yes. Strange. I would have thought he would have had some contingencies in the event that something like this were to happen.
Sir, you have always known me to be one that wished your father would do things differently. I believe that if he had something of that type, he might have hidden it from me as well.
True.
Is anyone suddenly getting the feel of like the Red Wedding and the courthouse?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, can I just get a slight little insight check to make sure everything's all on the up? And with
Everything's
that,
on the up and up. Yeah, you know that Ben Spoke has always been on your side. Like during your childhood, much like the Alfred to Batman, he was always there as a companion and somebody that seemed to actually have some normality and some common sense in your topsy-turvy childhood. And he does seem to be quite happy that you are making a bid for power.
Thank you, Ben Spoke. As always, I know you can be trusted.
Thank you, sir.
The guest rooms for my companions, are they prepared for?
I have
Evening
already
already.
seen to it that they are prepared to house them. I have put the typical chocolate and shampoo on the bedside, sir.
Thank you. As always, you are a treasure. Why don't you retire for the evening?
Sir,
You've done
I would,
enough. It's
I
been a
would
day.
gladly do that. But I'm also just making sure that dinner is overseen. Once that is done, I will make my leave, if that is all right with you, sir.
Very well. I wasn't really thinking of dinner, but yes, of course, as always, one step ahead of me.
I am here to serve. He bows and heads off towards the kitchens.
Oh, guys, we have our plan. We have dinner coming. They probably will be already closed in some of the guest rooms around. If you feel like being a little bit more polished, presentable for court tomorrow.
This is probably a pretty good place to arm yourselves with some business attire, a suit jacket or two.
Just like a pinstripe suit over the armor.
Awesome. So, how are you guys spending the evening, other than having a snack?
Red,
Chatting.
I'd like to just ask, what happens after tomorrow?
After tomorrow, well, we can't predict the future. Well, excuse me, I just burped into the microphone. I'm so
really
sorry,
did.
everyone on Twitch. I'm so sorry.
Have a
That
reroll.
That was Red Helm, not just on.
Exactly.
Blame
yeah,
Ben
well-
Spoke. That's what he's there for.
Apologies,
Hey.
sir.
Don't blame Ben Spoke. He's a treasure.
Maybe he was the treasure we were searching for all along.
The treasure is the
Aw.
friendship we made along the
Aw.
way.
That and a million dragons.
And the million dragons, yes.
Yeah.
The plan tomorrow, hopefully, I'm gonna aim to get my father locked up for the rest of his probably short life. He will not do well. He's very soft. And
Do
then
you,
But
do
then
you
what?
fear external interference? Your father seems a well-connected man. Are you concerned that his business counterparts will attempt to interfere?
Oh, I would put nothing past him. That's why I'm hoping for at least the zone of truth, and then if it still turns against us, we can just then expose the corrupt court for what it is.
Well, is the court to be closed? Do you know? Will there be no other people in there by yourself and your father and us?
Oh yeah, I'll double check the letter. Does it actually say if it's an open or closed session of court?
It says that it's open. So
Okay.
you expect there to be quite a few opponents to what you're trying to impose.
Red, is this going just on? What you got your hat on or off right now?
Oh, it's on off. Like I can't. I know I had it on last time. I think I might have taken it off. I'm just in the voice at the moment because I can't. I
Okay.
don't like doing the other voice as much.
Red, is this tomorrow going to be us or you against your father, or us against the city?
Not so much the city, more the ruling establishment. It'll be what they decide is best for the city. It's pretty much the way the Baldur's Gate works. Is the 1% decide how the city runs.
Mm-hmm.
Do we
1%
need to
tends to
be
be quite
sitting
powerful and connected, though.
Yes.
I'm thinking the same as Xander here. Like, this is going to get much larger than just your father very quickly.
It will be finding out possibly if there is any way to make any possible alliances within the city. Hopefully, the lesser of two evils, as it were, as we work to establish then a foothold and then change the city from within, whilst also, well, my ultimate goal is to now help everyone else in the party, because you've all helped me, and with the money from here, like the resources that we have, we could probably fix everything. We could figure out what is going on with you.
I appreciate that. That'd be great. I appreciate it.
2 questions. Should we be seating ourselves into the courtroom audience, slightly separated, and just casual onlookers for if things kick off? This is very much about you and your father. We can be very much anonymous.
Oh, they would probably already know who each of you are. It wouldn't surprise me if they've got people working for my father already.
Now, we're sitting on a mountain of cash.
Mm-hmm.
Can any of that be used to buy, influence, bribe?
That's why I gave that Captain Lucian all my money to ensure my father was put behind bars. Money does speak. Probably the only good thing about it.
Is there anyone politically that could have some sway here? Get the right outcome?
DM, is there anyone politically that might be able to help sway the outcome that I, as a player character, cannot remember?
You would definitely know that there are some families and some figures that are going to be able to help you here. The entire city is run by several lords who sort of govern Baldur's Gate. So any one of those families would be able to, if you got them on side, definitely be a strong help to you in your case. I'll find some names for you.
Thank you.
Is there a jury here, or is it a panel of judges?
A panel of 3 judges.
Awesome. I'll
Unbiased, of course, and have no political leanings.
Of course.
But do they have pockets?
Deep pockets.
I'll I'll have to start writing some letters. Actually, a couple of names are beginning to come to mind. Ben Spoke, can I get a quill and parchment, please?
Right away, sir. I'll bring it in with your dinner.
Thank you.
Let's stack the court with some non-conservative judges.
Judges that love
They're like
justice,
young people.
right?
Clay, I caught your comment earlier about getting ready to cast your Bane spell when when the code word pineapple's called out. Would it probably make sense then if Red appears to go in on his own with the four of us, I guess, hiding in the shadows? I can make us pass in there and hide without a trace for a little while if that would help the appearance of how we go.
Is that really going to help us sort of hide in plain sight?
I don't know.
If we're going to be in a crowd?
It's a veil of shadows will appear around us, so we will effectively potentially disappear.
How close do I need to be? 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It lasts for
1 hour.
a minute.
What?
A minute. He's got to be a fast talker.
You gotta talk fast.
Bane lasts 1 minute.
All right. Yeah, once you cast Bane, the
So
gig
you
is
can
up.
time it-
The gig is
you can
up.
Time it with the spell, because I'm pretty sure. What's the AOE for, or the time in Zone of Truth?
Lasts 10 minutes.
Okay, so you can cast it at the beginning of that probably and try and get
Yeah.
it.
Be like, hey,
Actually,
did you kill my mom?
All I'm trying to do is get him to drop his guard so that the spell sticks. And if that happens,
That's
then
fair.
it's a talk fest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the options there if we need to go in a little bit silently.
Just quickly for your information, Red.
Yes.
You know that there are quite a few people. There are 4 leaders that are all part of the Council of 4.
Mhm.
There is always a Grand Duke. And at the moment, the Grand Duke is Abdel Adrian, a famed adventurer and a celebrated hero of the city. There is a
Abdel Adrian.
Abdel Adrian.
Yep.
There is a Torlin Silvershield, a wealthy and powerful cleric of the Church of Gond. You then have Dillard, like Billard Ball, but Dillard with a D. Porter, an elder businessman who has a rather easily influenced by money. Historically, at least, from your hearings in the back ends of the city. And then you know of Berlin Stellmain, who has always been a ruthless politician and has worked her way up the chain by stepping on the backs of many other competition.
I just had an idea. Under Zone of Truth, can you potentially uncover or force your father to out any dealings that he has against these key people? Piss them off enough that they'll pass judgment on him. Is he that shady a player that he will always have some counter deal or something running that would hurt each of those people?
It's a possibility, but the way that the spell works is that I ask the question, and if he doesn't have to tell me the truth, he can just say nothing, like guilt by omission sort of thing. So I need the exact proper question to ask him to put himself into that position where he, by not speaking, he's guilty.
Could we ask Ben Spoke of anything that he's been privy to?
I've got the meals ready. Is it okay if I bring them into the study, sir?
Yes, of course, thank you.
Ben Spoke.
Yes, sir.
Has the Todd been running?
Corruption high five.
I've lost my train of thought now. Has Todd been running any schemes that run foul of those names that you rattled off while I was
Abdel
forming?
Adrian, Torlin Silvershield, Dillard Porter, Berlin Stellmain.
The Council of 4, sir.
Yes, and also the Grand Duke.
Indeed. Well, it is apparent to me that the previous Master Todd had some dealings that were unreported to the Council of 4. anybody that comes in contact with 1,000,000 dragons and does not share that wealth with the other members of the elite surely cannot be very appreciated. But that is just my opinion, sir.
Yeah, let's not reveal the 1,000,000 dragons bit, because we want to make the world a better place. And if these 4 get in on it, forget it.
Indeed, sir. That is partly the reason why it is difficult to use what you know as an advantage, sir.
Yes. And the cleric of Gond, tall as Silver Shield,
Yes, sir.
DM, sorry, Gond, the god of who's Gond the god of?
Gond, let me find out for you. Gond is a funny god. We had a temple to Gond in Waterdeep, who was actually the one where you guys saw the Nimblewright. Yeah. So it was the one with all it was the invention one. So Gond is one of the deities of knowledge and invention.
Okay.
Symbolized with as a strong man, crafting weapons, often gear, iconography, and that sort of thing.
And like change and evolution, the constant progress to push things forward.
Innovation.
Okay. I will begin to write a letter to the clerics first off, talking about innovation and some slight plans for the city moving forward with hopefully his backing.
I'm going to give you a performance check to see sort of how well you craft this thing. You can make a case for another role that would make it sort of more to your strengths.
Just persuasion, just because like the way that I write
Yep.
it.
No, persuasion's good.
Bless.
Oh, I was going to guide
What?
myself. I was going to guide myself to give myself a D4 for this.
Oh, well, same
Save
deal.
your level 1.
Alright.
What you got?
Okay, that's an 11.
Show what
plus
you
a
got.
D4.
Ooh,
Okay.
14.
14.
So you write that letter and have it sent off.
All right.
The beauty of this is you do not know what these roles correspond to and if they succeed or fail
Yeah,
until
I know,
you
right?
the trial tomorrow.
So your father was not running any
Side hustle.
scheme or side hustle that is directly against any of the 4 judges.
I would say that if he did, it would just not open, right?
Yeah.
He obviously, like, these people know that they backstab each other all the time.
Yeah, but I want to give it.
But trying to find evidence of that for a man that's lived so long in these circles, you'll have to try something quite out of the box to uncover that.
Can we
Yeah.
persuade your butler, Alfred?
If he
His
knows.
name's Ben Spoke.
Yeah, I know. I was drawing a blank. I have to write that down. Can we
He's become quite
convince
a mainstay character.
Ben Spoke of anything he can think of that one of these judges wouldn't know, and therefore use that as an opportunity in the trial to be like, hey, the Todd was fucking you over. And then the judge goes, rah, let him burn. That's the outcome I'm thinking of.
Yes, Ben Spoke. What he said. Is there anything like that you can think of?
Some
Maybe-
scheme that would piss off one of the judges if they probably don't know about it. We can out it.
I would say that there would be someone who could find out. As you know, sir, there are quite a number of allies that can be bought in the city that may have the skills necessary to sleuth quickly enough to uncover what you need to know before the morrow. But they will be costly, and whether they come through or not in time is entirely dependent on any number of factors.
How costly?
Yeah.
If only we had a full room of gold that we could
Well,
spend to ensure this happens.
We could always, and we can tell them that if their information arrives on time, then they get paid, but no money if it arrives too late.
Oh, look,
Yes.
a third now, 2/3 on delivery.
I have found that bargaining is acceptable thing to do in these parts since I awoke.
Yes.
I would say that they'd be more than willing to make some sort of bargain, sir, but to accept no pay at all for something of this short a turnaround, most men of their stature would, especially going after the caliber of man, would promptly refuse.
Well,
Offer them something that's,
Say-
negotiated for them.
1,000 gold?
Let them negotiate.
1,000 gold is a lot of money. And
1,000 gold would definitely do it, sir.
Yes, but if you're sitting on 1 million of them,
Well, if we do, like you were saying, a third up front, and then the rest on delivery of information, because that's what's a third of
Look,
it down.
we're buying these. We're buying these men for danger pay. Sleuthing out is not a difficult situation in a town like this. But your father, Jason, seems to be a well-connected and dangerous man for someone who is not his son. Even yourself, when you look at the effort we're going through purely to go and see this man in trial tomorrow, he is danger. The men we will be paying will need a lot of convincing, I would be assured. I give them a suitable amount of money, but pay them well for a good outcome rather than pay them cheaply for saving a few dollars.
Yes, I agree.
And then the next question, sir, would be how many of them do you want to hire? An increased number of people searching would surely increase the odds of something returning.
what about one per judge?
That is a wise division of their time, sir.
Or if we're going to make a play for one of them on the innovation card.
No, I think
Go three
all
others.
four, because I'm still trying to think of what I could potentially write to the other lords.
Yeah. How about we kick that off?
Yeah, we should also think about possibility of hiring. Lawyer.
Indeed, sir. Your dad will surely have hired the best that money can buy.
But he
what
has
if
We
we,
have
no
money at
money.
the moment. We have all the money at the moment.
what
So
if we hired some extra muscle too?
if he wins this case, he'll have all the money to pay them off in the world.
Oh, true.
If he wins this case, justice will still be served. He may escape with his life still, but there is a chance he will be lacking things like hands or joints.
Or a complexion that resembles anything other than a troll.
We seem to be going into this is unprecedented territory for us as a group. We usually just go and kill things.
Smash shit.
I have no idea of the adventures you've had, but where you've arrived here in Baldur's Gate, there is much political afoot, much political games afoot. Where this might not be smashing things with a hammer, although I do hope it comes to that. You must smash things and cover all bases in this political game.
I know what you mean, Ren. This is a plan. I don't think we've ever had one of those before.
Surely you check the trap.
Usually we start with a plan and then it goes sideways very fast and we start hitting things. This is one of the occasions where I'd say hitting things is the last option. That's why we have Bear with his very important... Bear, you listening? Bear?
Make
down the
no
potatoes.
action if you're listening, Tom.
Put down the potatoes,
Make-
Bear.
He's staying in character brilliantly.
You have the most important job of all. When things go sideways and you think we're about to start fighting, you
shit.
ask for trial by combat.
Oh shit, when it goes sideways.
Yes.
Oh shit, right? Oh,
No.
then ask for combat.
Ask
Oh,
for
shit,
combat.
then-
Don't
then
shit.
shit, or
Don't
shit,
shit in
then
the courtroom. Shit when we're in combat.
You
And
said
then throw it at
when
the
you're
enemies
shitting
with one
sideways, ask for combat.
No. When things in the courtroom go bad, south. There we go. When things in the courtroom go south, ask for trial by combat. Then, when we're in combat, shit in your hand and throw it in the enemy's eye to blind them.
So that might be frowned upon in the court.
Death by conjunctivitis.
Very, very classy here on the Raging Rolls.
Well, it only took us an hour to get to fecal jokes, so we're doing well. We're doing well.
Hey, we got the highest number of watches at the moment, so
Red,
It's perfect.
we go
They get
downhill
a
slide.
nice taste about dynamic.
Red, I know you have a lot of, I guess, hatred towards your father. Is taking him to court not going to just be a soft option?
if it was vengeance that I was after, I would have taken him out when we were down in the treasure room. We must be brought to justice. It's what my god has asked of me.
Justice is fickle. It's not going to last as long as you may think.
Justice turned me into a dragon. Justice got us out of that puzzle realm. Justice came down and delivered Xandar. It made him the Mace of Justice. Mace of Justice.
What if you're...
Mace of Justice.
What if the justice you seek, given it's largely public and easily influenced, is the wrong kind of justice? If your father just rotted in a cell somewhere quietly where no one would know, why can't we just disappear him and he doesn't have to die, but he just rots? Take him to refuge and stick him when
I like this
no
guy.
one will know who
No,
he
he would
is.
definitely be blown up straight away if he went
Oh,
to
that's
refuge.
that's a shame.
Yeah,
But
by that orcish lady.
She would 100% use him as part of her experiment. She's
Yeah.
the mayor now. You think that town's going to stay in one place for very long?
like if he came to Waterdeep and sat in a cell there, no one's going to know who he is. No one's going to come looking for him in Waterdeep. This is a very public trial, but it kind of feels like the odds are not stacked in our favor.
So you would suggest that we use subterfuge and spirit him away from Baldur's Gate to Waterdeep, and we just give him to Steve to cuddle with at night time, and then he's stuck there forever.
What's kind of payments or what are you seeking from him?
I want him to admit what he's done.
Why do we need
He's
all
done
this
I want
risk?
I want him to acknowledge that what he did was the wrong thing.
To you or to
feel
the world?
remorse. To the world, to me, to the world.
There is very, very little I remember of my background after waking up in the alley to some, but one thing that I can be sure of is not all those who commit and own their crimes show remorse.
Yeah.
If he sits in your circle of truth and claims that he did in fact have your mother murdered, and then smiles at you with zero remorse, what will you do? Will you enforce your own justice? Will you let him be taken by the courts? What is your plan if he does show no remorse?
I honestly, I say that I would prefer that what I would do would be to let him be taken by the court, and then rot forever. But if that were to happen, I honestly can't say what I'd do. I was very tolerant on the stairs earlier today. During the conversation, my entire body was screaming to me to end his unfortunate existence. But that's not justice.
Just
That's
on
vengeance.
this could go south in so many different ways, and you don't get the outcome that you want. We don't have control over 4 judges who are easily swayed, possibly already bought. Your father is also connected in other ways. We could be ambushed.
So
Did
if
we
I
not
may
seize a
make-
control of a situation that we've got control on?
So if I may make a suggestion.
Oh, yes, Ben spoke.
The other avenue, since it will be an open appearance, if you can't win over the judges, then maybe your case is for the common people. As you well know, Baldur's Gate is on the precipice of a revolution. There is speak on the streets of the common folk leading a rebellion against the Council of Four, and potentially even taking a stand against those that are behind the wall. And in that case, if you can use the threat of that revolution to your favor, maybe you can ensure that justice is served in your favor.
You mean we could be just like Hamilton?
I do not know of this Hamilton, but sir,
It's just this
Well,
play
that's
that
a
I
room I
could-
would want to be
you
in.
could be
That's all I'm saying.
the Jason. You could be your own legacy. You could be the title of some sort of a play or opera dedicated specifically to how you fought for justice in a time when things were against you.
and I can't throw away my shot.
Think about the sort of rights that you could have, all of the offshoots. You could have sort of a space themed musical. You could have a fantasy themed musical. You could even wait a couple of years and then just redo the original musical, but have everybody created as CGI characters. You could have so much potential.
Ben Spoke, I think you've missed your calling as a
Could one of
entertainment
these-
person.
Could one of them be when the men are wearing tights? I've
Oh,
often thought
almost
of a musical where men
exclusively.
are wearing tights.
Absolutely.
Tight
Tight
tights.
tights.
So I beg of you to consider the.
Let me pump up my shoes. One moment.
Exactly. As the
Much more comfortable.
doesn't go out
These
favour.
these clothes are fantastic. Thank you.
yes,
My pleasure,
we
sir.
should freeway to where we hear the people sing.
Yes.
All right, if we go down the People Avenue, what are we attempting?
I reckon it's the next tradition. We just rip him
To
straight
inspire
out.
them.
Shit goes south.
Why then we tell them the story of what happened, the search for justice, and do we really want to live in a city society where justice means nothing, that it can be bought with coin?
Well, I mean, we're buying people right now to go and find out dirt.
We're finding information. That's
can
different. That's a job. That is a job.
Sure. Look, let's save our inspirational, talk so that we can inspire these people in the room tomorrow from our hearts and not lose all our good works tonight. We should make hasteful rest. Get these people and these letters written. Get the people out there finding out what's happening, and we should make hasteful rest.
Are you sure we shouldn't just take your father tonight? Flee the city with him, find an appropriate nearby.
I fear we will not leave the city. Surely by this point,
Yeah.
Senior Todd has too many people watching for him.
Yeah. I don't
Even
think
if we were
we'll make it
to
out of the city.
bribe the guards and try and take him, surely that they would be watching. Surely they would have their eyes on him. There would be no way in which we'd be able to escape.
Yes.
Not
But-
with him intact and not with our entire party.
And if worse comes to worse, we have 25 grand in dragons in the bag of holding right now. That can buy an awful lot of arms for a revolution. And
We're inspiring a capital riot, right?
no, we are not, Spice. We are not. No, no, we are not.
Stop the steal.
That's exactly what we're doing. Stop the steal.
Poor DM is like, we're getting close to the end here, and it's going to be a great end up to this campaign. And we're like, okay, so we're going to inspire a 32 episode arc on inspiring revolution and seeing that come to fruition.
Like, as a DM, this is some cool stuff. Like, I'm sitting here waiting for you guys to pull the trigger on one of several very different outcomes of today's session.
And look, to Robin's point, he's been practicing his lawyer voice all day.
Hey,
Yeah.
He was
you
prepped for
guys
trial.
know that I will not pressure you at all to get out of pathway. Do what your characters would do, and I will make sure that the story follows.
I
Let's.
think if we're going to leave him there, we need dirt. We need leverage. We are against a court who very much places their interest in your father and his business dealings and keeping the city running. And I know you've got more social vision than he does, but that might not be aligned to these powerful figures.
But then what we do if we steal him, we hide him away. They're gonna know that that we did it. We're the only one who stands to benefit from what's just happened. We've come in, we've essentially had him arrested. We're the one that's making all the fuss. It might play in their favor that he's gone for a little bit, but they'll want him back.
Aren't you meant to be some big shot dragon boy? Can't you fly us out of here?
DM, I look down at my hand and I will look to transform into a dragon hand.
At the moment, you feel as you try and do that you feel sadly human.
I think that might have been a one-shot Hail Mary that Bahamut granted me to, pretty much save us from Annabeth.
One hell of a Hail Mary.
Yeah, but I had the bag of necessity that never opened, so we've got that on our side, guys.
Maybe a dragon will come out of that.
Maybe, yeah.
So when you mentioned a public trial, there's no option of a public jury. It's just a grand.
Well, no, that is a public jury. So if things go sour, then
As
they become the
Ben spoke
jury
to
and they'll rise up.
But do we have to rally the troops early to know people that they're going to have to be there? Because I doubt these judges are going to let us pull it out to the public vote.
I'm sure there
I don't think the judges will have a
town
choice if
criers
we're
on
pushing it to
the
them.
payroll. I assume Ben spoke. There are people who can put words in the right ears, sort of thing, to let people know.
You are correct, sir. If you were to fund me with 500 gold, I will ensure that it is filled with people that look more fondly upon your case.
Awesome. So we're up to 4,500 gold pieces so far.
Yes, sir. But you can replenish your stash surely before the morrow.
Yes.
I mean, the stash is just downstairs. We just take the bag down and fill it up again.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna-
Indeed, sir.
If this roof fixing the problems cost us 500,000 gold, we would pay it. We were willing to pay that for 2 children, were you not? Isn't that
Very
a
true.
story you told me just yesterday?
I don't remember telling you that story. How do you know that story? Who are you?
Yeah, you're
Stay
regaling me
from-
with your stories. Yeah, I had to backpedal on that one. When you regaled me with your stories of trying to save these 2 children from earlier in your adventures, I mean, wouldn't you spend 500,000 to save an entire town or an entire city? Surely this $5,000 spent so far is nothing.
That's very true.
And it went so well with the children.
Oh, it did. It sounded like it went horribly last time. Someone's telling me about it.
Yeah. Very well. Well, yeah. Yes. Get the word out for us, please. Ben spoke.
I will handle it, sir.
Inspire. Well, it'd be good if we inspire the masses as well as have at least one judge. Hopefully, I've written well enough to Silver Shield.
So, how I want to resolve this is I'll get you to roll one persuasion check to cover how well you write the rest of the letters.
Okay.
And, if you decide this is the avenue you're going to go down, I will be happy to sort of take your role and then see how it all works out.
Doing the 2 things, doing the pay for like words in the right ears as well as write some letters. Yeah.
Yes. So that's Blastoke is going to handle all of that side of things for getting the right people in the room.
Right. I've been blessed as well.
And you've been blessed. You know, it's looking good for you.
Ooh,
21.
21's a
Beautiful. So
Dirty 21.
not talking about whether that is successful or not, but you write your letters, and the rest of the evening you all sit and plan. Everybody is making sure that they try and figure out every alternative to how this will all go down. And as you go into the night, eventually the butler comes back and says, "I think, sir, if you wish to win tomorrow, it is best to get some rest this evening. Shall I prepare a bath for each of you?"
Oh, that would be fantastic. Thank you. I don't know about the rest of you, but I could use a clean off. Especially after hearing that puzzle master's voice.
Yeah.
We all
Extension
need a
puzzle
bath
room.
after that
Still
one.
works.
This is where we find that Ben Spoke is the big bad who just poisons us in our bath.
And then the credits of the campaign roll.
The last time we got into a bed, we ended up freaking fighting a beholder. So now we're getting into a bath. This is going to be like an underwater beholder. This is not going to be good.
Bed, bath, and beholder.
Ben Spoke's just
I'm
nudging
sure that's
the
a-
toaster closer and closer to the bath.
Would you like a crispy bread snack, sir? All right. So as you guys all settle in for the evening, it is a nice time for us to quickly take a break for tonight's stream to pick up again in the morning when we head to the trial.
D&D Law and Order edition.
I'm assuming we get a long rest. We might as well hit
You
that
do.
button now. Take a long rest.
As long as you don't get affected by
We
the
all-
poison in the so make sure you make your concept.
You
Yes,
level up
yes,
there, right, as well?
What was it,
Yeah.
sorry?
You leveled
yeah,
up.
just having a conversation is enough for you to level up completely. It's amazing what good thoughtfulness can do for your
Hey,
character.
we've had divine intervention from 2 gods in like a single session.
Two of them. Hey, one of those did get you a level up. The other one hasn't.
True.
You get me a sweet mace, though, just saying.
That's pretty good level up. I'll
Sweet
take
mace.
that. All right, guys. We'll have a quick 10-minute break, and then we'll return to get into some more Dungeons and Dragons
Courtroom
legal.
drama.
Dun dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Anyway,
Anyway, stick with the CrossFit. Because totally excited by it all.
Oh no. I give up.
Going on.
After a bit of refreshment,
We're on.
a good D&M. Everybody
handle,
is
babe.
really
you had a pretty good BM.
S&M,
Yeah.
sorry?
Hey, thanks, all. Thank you for making my job very easy to do.
This is why Homebrew is never going to be streamed because Jez is going to be like, I give up.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I just give up. All right. So, you guys all have a lovely bath followed by a good sleep. There is some worry about tomorrow's outcome, but tonight you have done a great job in preparation. So, you all eventually find yourselves drifting away. As morning comes, you are all woken softly by a knock at the door, and Ben spoke saying, "Good morning, sir. It is time for you to rise. There will be breakfast waiting for you in the drawing room."
Thank you.
And slowly making their way through and ran to your door, he says, "Ma'am, it is time to rise. Your companions have been requested to join us at the drawing room for some breakfast."
I just open the door straight away without him finishing his sentence and head down.
"Oh, right this way, sir, ma'am."
Thank you. While heading downstairs, looking for any useful weapons or items that might give us an edge in the future.
I think we asked Ben Spoke. Where's the stash?
Ren's not one for
I
asking.
don't think Red is looking for the official
No.
equipment stash. Make a sort of I guess a sleight of hand check just to see generally how well you do, because I'm assuming every spare moment you have, this is a very
Absolutely.
tempting location.
Absolutely. Sleight of hand. Oh, that's a golden 6.
6 is not bad. There's been
great.
some pretty tight scrutiny. You notice that even as you try and sneak out during the evening, there is some watch. You do, however, get one opportunity during the night to quickly sneak out. You can go ahead and make another check to see how you do then.
Sleight of hand again.
Yeah, unless there's something else you think would be practical in a scoping mission.
It's up to you. I got stealth. I can do stealth.
You probably have pretty good sleight of hand too, though, right?
It's +4. I'll give it a go. 8,
That's probably the best.
18.
18's better.
Yeah.
18's better. Is that with the modifier?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, you managed to find a small collection of what do seem to be like heirlooms, there's a couple of you see a spoon collection, from all of the houses in Baldur's Gate and the Sword Coast. All of the big families, they've got one for each of them hanging up, nice silver spoons. You also see underneath it is sort of inside the on one of the coffee tables is a book of collectible coins. Which does seem to be quite an interesting little find for you. And you do see a collectible little what seems to be a magic lighter.
Ooh.
When you sort of touch or like run your fingers across what looks to be some sort of rotor or a gear, sparks occur and it lights up.
Taken.
That you pocket very nicely.
It's magic because it's like a lighter, because of flame in a box, or magic because it can do other shit?
Hey,
We'll find out.
If you've identified that.
Okay, alright.
Does it have Zippo emblazoned on the side?
You do acknowledge quite a strange text. One of the first letters being what looks to be a sword slash. It's like Zorro almost, but whether that means anything, who knows?
It's in Dwarvish.
Surely you shed a tear for your friend Zim as you think of him for Zed.
It does remind you of him for sure. He was also small and quick to flame.
Okay, cool. Carry on downstairs in the morning.
So I assume that it's a sexy lighter then. It's reminding me.
There's tears.
Yeah.
There's tears.
I'll let you in our post session
Sexy
if we
tears.
ever get if Ren survives long enough to have a long life, how she goes in pursuit of kindling her romantic spark for Zim. We won't cover that now.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so yeah, you all are welcomed into the drawing room with the breakfast waiting for you. Again, a buffet of foods, a combination of eggs of all different types. You see some French toast that's still steaming. You see a waffle station. You see some berry sort of jam spread across. You also see bacon. You see steaks. You see sausages. It really is laden with every fancy that you could possibly imagine.
Where did they get the inspiration for French toast in Baldur's Gate? Is France like a
Viva
neighboring...
la Revolution. You can't be doing Les Mis without a bit of French influence,
Just wanted to double check.
Les
that's all.
Mis is French.
I'm pretty sure it is. If I've got that wrong,
Yeah.
I've been very long for a long time.
You're right.
Okay, eating up.
It's not French. It's
Sure,
Australian.
French
It's
would
got,
be Les Mis, not Les.
it's not French.
Yeah,
it's
it's
Australian. It's got both Russell Crowe and Hugh Jackman in it.
Huge Jackman, yeah. A reoccurring character I'm sure that we'll have in the homebrew, Huge Jackman, a barbarian that's replaced their nails with metal. It's gonna be a whole
A
thing.
barbarian bard.
Oh god! Imagine a bipolar character which is like half Wolverine, half Les Mis. It's like they just have these like two sides of the personality. I will kill them.
My baby,
And the Greatest Showman.
when my baby goes to Rio.
No, it'd be awesome to play like a Jekyll and Hyde style thing, but you've got to roll for what character you're going into. Like it's basically.
It could almost be like a Peter and Alan, right?
Oh, well done.
Oh god! All right. As we finish our breakfast, it's slowly getting to sort of the late morning. It's probably approaching 10 o'clock. You know that you've got about 2 hours before the case begins to fill in from the streets. How do you guys spend the rest of your time?
I have a nervous wee.
Nice.
Yeah,
Only like one
I
of
go
10 in the next 2 hours.
I wish somebody had shown you where the bathroom was first.
Yeah, I go
So
and
right
have a-
right this
a
way.
spew.
I'll show you where our guest bathrooms are.
Nervous spew, definitely.
Was there any chance of getting some upgraded kit from the Todd family?
Oh yes, we have some of that. I think it just depends.
I could absolutely. We should be able to take you to the closet. Right now, I imagine that you would not be too upset if they raid your dad's finery, Sir Todd.
I'm certain probably one of them already has.
Oh, I am sure that your friends are of an upstanding reputation.
Yep.
But if you would follow me, anybody that wishes to find themselves some new attire, I will show you to the closets.
Yes.
I meant attire of the shiny varieties.
We can go to the armory afterwards as well, if you would.
Yeah, armory would be a good idea. I just in case.
Ren will say, "I'll miss the garments. I'm sure with Red's mother gone, there's not even nothing available anyway, so it's fine."
You do know that most of your mother's clothing was quickly gotten rid of as she became a less part of your life.
What a bastard.
Yep. It's right. I'm sure there's something that we can make do with for you, Ren.
I'll make no fuss. It's fine. I'd rather arm myself appropriately for whatever may be coming than...
Anybody who's trying to look through the closet, make an investigation check as you try and go through the absolute mountain of clothes that await you.
Yeah, I'm going to guide myself as well for an extra D4, because I have a -1 to my investigation.
Oh, yeah, that's...
16.
that's
that's a 13 for me.
Oh, nice.
How did I get
bad.
a
Picked up
16? You got a
an
13.
18.
Yeah, so let's quickly go through. I don't want to spend too much time here. But Almazza, what is... I end up being like half what we've got left of the session. Describe to me what you're looking for. What's the aesthetic that you got in mind?
Not that I remember what it looks like, but everyone seems to be talking about formal attire. And, I've got this gold mace now, and I'm either looking for something to complement it, but it's also extremely golden, or something to kind of be the complete opposite and complement it in a very, sleek, just plain black.
So what's your primary color, right? We've got gold as the accent. What's your core color here?
I think black. I kind of just woke up in the alley with very little on me, and most of my clothes are very dirty.
You find a tuxedo that is in the closet, a gorgeous jacket that the entire edge of it is brimmed in gold that matches the hue of your hammer. You see that all of the accessories, including the buckles on the where the belt would go, are all made of gold, leading to a gold rim on the pants as well, down to where your shoes would be. You find alongside it a collection of watches, different little coat watches, and one of them as well is this beautiful golden watch that surprisingly has the symbol of Tyr on it, with the scales. Must have been a gift at some point. You find matching it some shiny black shoes that, although are a bit tight, you realize that the man who previously wore them was not so well endowed as yourself, but that's going to be something that you can work around. Beautiful.
Absolutely delightful. This is your father had fantastic taste. This is absolutely just blowing my mind.
What are you looking for there, Red?
Pretty much just something a little bit nicer. So I'm back to wearing my just on outfit without the helmet. Going into court and stuff just to prove that I am who I am with, my face.
Yep, it makes sense. I'm not going to try and pretend to be somebody you're not.
Yeah, but to complement my red helmness, I'm looking for a very red, cloak to wear over my armor.
With a 13, I think you can, you happily find the collection of cloaks, and within it you find a luxurious red cloak that would don so beautifully with the rest of your armor and present a strong image.
Excellent.
Next up in the fashion order, how are you doing, Bear? What are you looking for?
I'm going for animal skin. So I would like an animal skin trench, something that just looks like I've ripped the carcass off an animal and just worn it.
So you look around and there's actually nothing that really you find fashionable at all. It's pretty terrible that a man with this much money wouldn't buy a single carcass to sort of wear. You know, they're all well sort of polished. Anything that was
my
once
mother.
animal, anything that was once like an animal has been refined to the point where it's useless. Except on the wall, you do find hanging there. Sorry, we'll say on the floor a bearskin rug that still maintains some of its ruggish aesthetic. And wondering why a man like this would throw his clothes on the floor like that, you go ahead and you pick up that nice bearskin rug.
Oh, mate, check this out. She threw it out on the floor. Look, who would do that to such a fine piece?
But actually, you look really good, Bear.
You got a problem in your little prissy outfit there,
It's like a bearskin rug as a cloak with like a tie and a loincloth.
How does it smell? I imagine it probably is a bit musty.
Better than most carcasses.
Probably better than Bear.
I was wearing an actual carcass at one point in this campaign, so
Yes,
it's only be uphill from here.
And then anybody else scouring? We got Clay. How have you got?
I'm just looking for a very simple cloak. Something I can throw over the pauldrons a little bit. Something with a hood. But finer than a traveling cloak.
Any sort of color scheme you got in mind?
Yeah, like a dark grey.
Ooh, okay. So you do manage to find some of the more practical cloaks. You know, the Todd was a man that did travel from time to time, and amongst his traveling cloaks, you do find a sort of a thicker woolen cloak, which will obviously keep you warm, but it cinches nicely with a buckle around the neck, which is shaped in a golden wreath. That then is sort of attached to the rest of the cloak that goes back into a hood to shield from the weather.
Perfect.
And as such, you all find yourselves adorned with clothing that fits what you're trying to achieve. And Ben Spoke says, if you would like to follow me to the armory, I'd be more than happy to let you peruse the weapons.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
To the armory.
With my mace, I will stay and eat further back at the table. At the breakfast, I will make sure that I am well fed. I do not need any further armor.
We need to make sure Bear's well armed. He had some nice stuff, but he lost it all when we were in Waterdeep.
Yeah.
I feel for you, Bear. I feel for you, Bear. I know the feeling of losing one of prized possessions and prized weapons. Surely it was in battle with a huge opponent.
Yeah.
Real equal opponent.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
6 of them or 8 of them, I imagine, for a man your size.
As you guys are sort of giving each other a little bit of fun in the back, you see Ben Spoke walk up to one of the torches that's set into the wall, and you see Ben Spoke give it like a twist as you hear a click and the wall begins to swing open from the torch as a handle. And inside you see a lamp light up in the center of the room that casts light across all of the metal that sits adorned across the walls of this armory. Realizing as that you've just walked into the Todd's personal armory, you see an opportunity to become quite capable fighters as a result of this discovery.
Bring it on.
What looks shiny?
So,
and
what do we
above-
find?
Yeah, how are we gonna
So
do this?
I'm gonna quickly let each of you roll a D100 for me.
Oh shit.
D100. Boom.
D100.
49.
Not bad,
Oh.
not bad.
52.
Oh, right. It's both right in the middle of the road.
Jed's got a 51. How's that? We'll split us in half.
Pretty good.
I'm just gonna have a roll. I don't even need anything for this round.
You
so I'm
do
gonna roll
just have a roll because yeah,
I'll find you something.
23. Oh, you got a little.
Well, there we go. We got 85 was up high, and I'm about that number.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody that got below a 30, you guys get any sort of normal weapon of your choice. Anybody that got above
Pick up a dagger for Xander.
anybody that was above 30 but under 50, you guys get to choose a +1 weapon of any type.
Mark, I can see your face getting your smile getting bigger.
Warhammer.
Anyone that
Everybody,
rolls above an 80 falls on their face.
anybody that gets from a 50 to an 80, you guys get +2.
+2.
And anybody that sort of hits the 80 to 100, you guys get a sexy little +3.
Woo!
+2 weapon,
Oh,
right? +2
yeah.
whatever.
+3 to hit, plus damage?
Plus damage.
Shit.
+3 to hit, +3 to damage.
Nice.
Are you trying to negotiate a half Red Helm?
Of course I am.
I will let you choose between one of two things. Either you can have a shield that grants you +1 AC, or you can get a +2 weapon.
Shield sounds good.
So you're gonna choose the +1 AC shield?
Yeah, because I don't use my Warhammer very often, so.
Of course. That's
I'm gonna toss it to the chat and ask, what should I be picking up that's not a Warhammer? Because that's what I have. And sticking with melee.
And please be brutal. Please be
You've
brutal.
got the Chance Lance, you've got the Warhammer.
Yeah.
Do a
Suggestions only. I don't have to take the suggestion.
Only greatsword.
Oh, and it should be one-handed because I do have a shield, and I kind of like that AC.
You
I
want
love
that,
how you. I want suggestions.
You know what? I'm just
but-
stripping all these choices away from people.
Yeah,
to the
yeah, I
point
know.
that-
Oh, nice. I like the tree branch struck by lightning. It's a magical tree branch of
It's like that.
bashing.
It's like that meme. Like, and Samwise, I give you this stick. You can pretend it's a sword and just wave it around. Actually, no, I'm keeping this stick.
A glaive.
A glaive.
choice.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, it's pretty sexy.
I've been toying with the idea of a glaive in another campaign, so
Smite. There you go.
This changes your art. Oh yeah, or a scimitar, also a very cool weapon.
A what? A scimitar?
Yeah.
Scimitar.
Are you gonna call me out on my pronunciation this close to your debate with your father? Is that how you want to play
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
That's how we're
I
gonna
stood
do
for
it?
justice, okay? Yeah.
And Red Helm.
Oh dear.
Alright,
Red
so,
Helm, no, it was
we
all of
we
these
all
things.
managed to pick up our weapons, which surprisingly gives us a bit of a grounded feeling. Everybody feels happy getting a nice little gift as we lead into the time for the trial. With half an hour left, you see the carriage arrive, which you know signals that it's time to leave Jason.
And did we get any information from the 4,500 gold pieces that we spent last night?
You have not yet, no.
Okay. Well, Ben spoke. This, I think everything's going to go perfectly fine.
Things will work out for us, sir.
Yes, if not, I'll do my best to try to get to you before we have to leave Baldur's
If
Gate.
I get word that you are no longer going to be the leader of House Todd, I will not be here upon your father's return.
Good man.
I have
Yeah.
helped you all far too much for my safety.
Well, you've been more of a father to me than my own father. So, I look back at the party and I kind of like give him an awkward hug as the party.
I care for you, sir. Please stay safe.
And I for you. You stay safe. And, well, I'm sure you probably have some money put away somewhere.
I have been saving, sir.
If you can, meet us at, if things go bad, head to Waterdeep and we'll try and meet you at the Winchester Shield.
I will try my best, sir.
I mean, surely if things go bad, he'd just pop Roxy's pockets full from the stash downstairs.
runs.
I have the key.
Just saying.
Oh, that reminds me. Before we leave, I run downstairs and I grab some more money from downstairs because
Cool.
I spent.
I imagine that you guys have, based on what we discussed last week, a full stash. Morningstar's not a bad idea.
No.
And then you guys find your way back up here.
All right.
It is
What time?
to leave, so we
Yeah.
Let's do it.
must go.
Let's do it.
He walks you all to the caravan that has now arrived for you, and welcomes you all in. And with a solemn smile, he bids you a farewell as the horses begin to pull away, and the carriage drawn with it. The journey there is uneventful. The city does seem to be holding its breath as you all approach the courthouse. Everybody that looks upon you, seeing the crest of House Todd upon the caravan, realizes that they are watching history unfold right in front of them.
Is it quite busy?
It is, but it really does seem to be that when you approach, things slow down. They seem to know that you guys are about to have the showdown. At least that much of what you spent your money on has been achieved, as the rumor has spread very quickly. As you guys approach the courthouse, you see that there are a few different people waiting out the front. A few people dressed up to quite a nice degree. You know they're not nobles, but they seem to be trying to fit in well. Are there holding out quills and notepads, waiting for you to disembark. And as they see your carriage approach, they all rush up to you. Many of them trying to shout over each other. Sir, a moment, please. Sir, please. I just want a moment. I can just. What's your statement? What do you think's going to happen? As they all start to shout at you, trying to be the one to uncover a sliver of information before the others.
Justice will be served. That's my only comment.
As you write that, as you say that, a few of them begin to scribble down, giving you a moment of reprise before the rest of them start swarming, seeing someone that's willing to speak to them. You guys try and push through the crowd, slowly making your way into the courthouse, where eventually you're able to break through when the guards in front of the courthouse entryway keeps most of the crowds at bay. As you walk into the courthouse, you notice the flooring to be a gorgeous tile set that showcases the amount of money that goes into this place. All of the seating is made of priceless wood that is polished to perfection, whether never used or maintained to such a degree that you can't tell that it's been used, you can't say. Leading up to the front of this room, you see the three places for judges to reside. You also see a bench for each yourself and your father's lawyer and himself to sit, the prosecution and the defense. As you walk in, you're guided to the front, sitting down at the right bench where the security has seated you. Across the room, you see that the entryway leading to where your father will sit leads off to what you can only assume is the holding cells of the prison.
I must say, DM, sorry, this drawing is the best drawing by far in the entire campaign. Like, it's very close to the squares when we fought Xanathar, but this is really good. I love it.
I know. I spent a lot of time. You know, I typed in courthouse. I sort of positioned it. The scaling, the sizing was important. It was a lot of effort. So I thank you for appreciating that. Don't just ignore the. Yes.
Could you ping on the map where you would expect the Todd?
The Todd will be coming out of the left-hand side of the map here. Do you see that there?
I do.
Beautiful. As the rest of you find your way into the courthouse, is anybody else going to sit with Red, as there is 2 seats, or are you going to leave Red to defend himself?
I thought I paid for a lawyer, didn't I?
Okay, cool. So you've got a lawyer as well. Cool.
I thought I paid for one.
No, you're good. Just making sure. All right, so you walk in and you see a lawyer sitting down at your table. He bustles in and you see that they've been hard at work. They've got a stack of papers, and he says to you, "Good morning, sir. It's great to have you here. I've been trying to work all night on your case. It's last minute, I know, but I think I have a good angle. I think your obvious win here is that you're the man of the people. You're one that stands for right and justice and all the rest of that. Can I count on you on portraying that image?"
100%. What was your name? Sorry.
My name is Lander.
Lander?
Lander.
Nice to meet you.
Sounds like a very strong name.
Thank you, random person from the benches.
Yes, 100%. You can count on me. Also, I assume like non-lethal magic is okay. I have this thing called Zone of Truth that I can use. We didn't really just talk. Like, this is the first time we actually meet each other. We kind of made up a plan with, my friends yesterday about what we could do.
Right. Well, I mean, my best advice here as your lawyer is to not get caught doing it.
Oh, but if I state I'm sure that even like Silver Shield as a cleric would have this same spell, this Zone of Truth spell, where the person can't actually lie within.
Oh, indeed, and mayhaps if we can convince them to, they can cast it on our behalf, which would make it rather a bit easier to convince them of its authenticity.
Right. Also, DM, what reading am I getting from this guy after meeting him for the first time, knowing that lawyers are genuinely slime people?
Sorry if there's any lawyers in the chat.
Yeah, so sorry.
You guys
Sorry
know
for your
who they
families.
are, right?
Yeah, you had it coming.
No, so go ahead and make an insight check. See if you can get a read on this guy's character.
Just while you're doing that, did get a reroll from the chat for Xander from Inflatable, so that will 100% go down well tonight. Inflatable, there is no way that we won't be using that.
Yeah. Breaks it to a whole riot.
Along with all this extra kitted out weaponry that we've just been granted.
I'm going to cast, as we walk in, Pass Without a Trace for anyone else that wants cover, and just hang back against the wall.
I rolled a 15 on my insight check.
Very nice. So with that 15, you get the feeling that this guy, he's viable and he's probably manipulative, but you've bought him and he's manipulating for you.
He's your manipulator.
So it's like, yes, surely if he was on the other side, you would despise him, but at this moment, having someone familiar with that is good. And just a quick shout out to A's and Weld. The reason you see 2 dice on the screen is because with Roll20, which is what we use for the game, it automatically rolls for advantage or disadvantage to make it quicker. But we only take the first dice that appears within our roll, so that it's not confusing to us, but it can be a little bit to the viewers. But after that's all done, we quickly get into the proceedings as the 3 judges walk into the building, and you see that the people that are actually judging this case, not random judges, but 3 of the Council of 4, Torlin Silvershield, Dillard Porter, and Bell Bellin Stelmane appear upon the counter. You hear a quick stand as your lawyer stands up when they approach the bench to make sure that you are obeying them and not causing any sort of issues. And as they stand, you hear Torlin call out in a quite a strong voice. The defendant may enter. And you see out of the other doors, your dad walks in wearing some of his finery that he was wearing when he was taken. And he's being accompanied by 2 guards as he is placed within the seat with his lawyer that walks in with him. Now, his lawyer is a sharply dressed elf who stands with an air of superiority. Quite a calm and collected person, much different to your lawyer, who seems to be someone who's trying to just tackle every avenue. This man seems to be what you would probably consider a very expensive buy in the city of Waterdeep before you even hear them speak.
Can we sit yet?
Torlin addresses everybody. You may be seated as the group of them at the front sit. And they all look at you and just surprised at just how good you were at just standing the whole time. They're like, damn, most of the time the people over there just don't respect us that much, but that's nice. As they all sit down and sort of talk to each other. Torlin says, we are all here today to discuss Todd versus Todd, to discuss who is the rightful ruler of the House Todd. An important case. We have opened this up to the community to ensure that whatever is decided today is the will of the people. Presiding with me today is Dillard Porter, as well as Bellin Stelmane, a representation of how important this case is as we bring in the council of 4 members. Now, before we get into the proceedings, we have in front of us here, and he points over to your father's table, we have the current master of House Todd, who is being prosecuted for allegations of murder and being represented by their lawyer, Julian. And on the other side here, we have the prospective master of House Todd, who is also being represented by their lawyer. And you see them all sort of greet each other and sort of call out. The way that today's proceedings will go is that I will call up each of the parties to make a statement. From then on, each of the parties will be allowed to bring forth any witnesses that they may wish to interrogate and have presented to the court. If I deem necessary, I will not be beyond administering a zone of truth to ensure that what we get today is truthful. But I hope that of a case of this stature, we will not be needing that. Do you understand me, Todd and Todd?
Yes, Lord.
And your dad says, yes, my liege. And you see him nod slightly. We will begin with the prosecution's case. And he looks over to your table, and he says, you may begin. And your lawyer...
The timing.
That goes for a full minute. Well, I got to sit through that.
Your lawyer smiles at you confidently, puts his papers on his desk, tap, 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 tap.
I also hand him the evidence.
He says, I'm glad that you gave that to me. I had not much to go on other than that.
Yep, that'll help.
I didn't realize we had that, so that's pretty handy. As he quickly sort of scrambles it together, he reads it and he smiles. Your honors, it is my absolute pleasure today to defend justice, to defend honor, and to defend the great namesakes that make Baldur's Gate the pillar of humanity and prosperity and innovation that it is. My defendant, what do you call it if you're like the prosecutor and you're like
It is my client. It is
my
usually-
client?
I believe.
I'm just like,
I don't know. I've watched
My-
some TV.
my
I think
client, son, Todd, has come up within Baldur's Gate from a young age. He has been part of the city as it grew, and through that time, he should have been entitled to a lifetime of peace, learning, and eventually prosperity as he progressed to take over the family name. But alas, tragedy struck as young Jason Todd was left motherless at the hand of bandits at an early age. But your honors, that is not necessarily the case, is it? As we have evidence here that suggests that Todd, Master Todd over there, was actually the one that issued the initial murder. And if it may please the court, I would bring this evidence to you now. You hear Silver Shield looks over to you guys quizzically and he says, yes, you may bring it forward. And you see your lawyer bring forward the evidence that you got last time, which shows that your dad had paid money to said bandit organization. And the judge looks at the evidence and passes it around to the other judges. And you see from the table, Balin looks over to you and your lawyer and says, surely you cannot make that kind of draw that just because they paid a bandit means that they're the ones that caused them to be murdered. Many of us use mercenaries to carry out our work in the city. If we did not use them, we wouldn't have any help at all in this place. And Torlin looks at her and says, yes, Balin, I appreciate that. Let's hear them out. And she sort of bustles back into her seat, being chastised a little bit, but no less determined to throw a bit of disruption into your defense. Your prosecution. As your lawyer continues, this is one of the many pieces of evidence we have to showcase that my client is in the right to be the heir to the throne, considering the devilish things that his dad has done to him since as well. And I'm sure many of you have cases that Mr. Todd has been the one. And he sort of says, I will have it known that this man that sits across from you is evil and stands against everything that the city should be striving for, stands against the Temple of Gond and innovation and invention, but rather seeks only to invent more ways to cause pain to everybody that serves under him. Let this era of mishandling of power come to an end and rule in the favor of my client. And he says, thank you, your honors. And the judges all look at each other and they start to defer a little bit and chat. And then you hear them come back. All right, now the defense to defend. And you see the lawyer stand up from the opposing table, dressed in the perfect fitting suit as they do so. And he looks over at you guys and just says very quietly, Jason, are you happy? Are you happy that you're putting your father through this? After he attempted nothing but to welcome you to the family and to give you a place at the table. No, your honors, I stand here today defending an innocent man, a man who has done nothing but serve Baldur's Gate well for decades. This man has been a pillar in our organization, has led business to grow rapidly, has created jobs for people wide across Baldur's Gate. This man has injected capital after capital into the city to ensure that every single person here has the best chance of success. And you know what this man has done? This boy, he's come in here and insinuated that my client, who has lived a life to serve, was responsible for his own wife's death? This man who loved his wife and who would have done anything to have her with him today, who just earlier when we were talking burst into tears at the mere discussion of his wife he longs for so much. And he looks over at your dad, who quickly covers his eyes with his hands, and you see the lawyer say, I will try and spare the details, for as you can see, my client is already wounded by the mere thought of the loss. But, your honors, any evidence this man has that claims that purely working with mercenaries is a crime, I beg you, look forward into what precedent you might set if other people that hire mercenaries are put through the same hardships that my client is put through. That if every person that seeked outside help would suddenly find themselves responsible for the murder of every organization that place committed. I'm sure that if Monsieur Todd knew of the travesty that had been caused and understood who was responsible for it, he would not have worked with them any longer. I will put this to you. If you put this man away, all the help that would be coming to your organization would be gone. All the help to the city. For surely a young man such as that would spend it on frivolous things, would waste away a fortune that could have otherwise gone to enabling a people. So please, before you make a decision, know that with my client rests the future of Baldur's Gate. And again, they chat a little bit. And they say, we will quickly break so that we can deliberate in more detail, taking in both sides of the case. When we return, we will call for any witnesses to further bolster your claims. And we will allow you some time to work with your prospective lawyers. And they both nod, and as they stand, your lawyer again says, stand! As the room sort of quickly rises to their feet. As they all leave the courtroom, you can see the second the door shuts, everybody sits down as the pressure is being removed to keep them in. You have a moment, and your lawyer speaks to you, says, all right, well, at least we can see the angle they're going for. Do you have anything else?
Weren't we able to object to anything that he was saying?
That was open. We can't object there, otherwise it would be chaos. But in the next section, we will be able to cross-examine the witness, and we may be able to undermine their strategy there.
So that's where we would go for the definite zone of truth on him.
If you would like, we could call him to the stand. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, and then zone of truth and just flat out ask him.
Well, it's not bad if we can get there. I will attempt to maneuver them to make that happen. We have to prove first that your dad has a history of using lies to get what he wants.
What else?
How can we do that in order to enable that zone of truth?
Can we call Mr. Oh, I should have brought Ben Spoke with me. Shit.
God damn it.
God damn it.
We can send for him, surely.
Yes, can we send for Ben Spoke? That would have
Due haste!
Yeah.
You quickly get the attendants to sort of send that message out for Ben Spoke to arrive.
So we can't cast Zone of Truth? I know the lawyers...
Not without breaking sort of the protocol. Like that would be using magical tampering to get your way. It would definitely count against the court case.
So that'd be the cleric that's casting that spell.
It would be the Mr. Torlin Silvershield.
Okay.
Is something like Bane still allowed? Like, if it's not actively being done by the prosecution team, and it's a little bit like Claymore off to the side, wiggle, wiggle fingers, wiggle, yeah.
To do it without being seen, underneath the nose of one of what you would assume is one of the most powerful members of the Church of God. Be my guest, but I cannot promise you that it will go undetected.
So what other proof will we need? I can give a description of the people that I discovered, like the bandits, when I found the first piece of evidence that I've carried around since I found it.
What would that be?
The what was it? It was a letter. I was like pretty much time and a place for when to kill my mother, pretty much.
Oh.
And
Wow.
then the thing that we found yesterday was pretty much the transfer for room service that was made out to the bandits that killed her.
Indeed. Well, that's fitting. So we've already revealed one of those pieces of evidence. Maybe if we hold the other piece, we can spring it on them, and that way we can catch them in a lie.
I'm pretty sure my father already knows about it, seeing as we found it with him in the room yesterday.
All right. Well, we'll try and preempt that and hit them with it first before they have a chance to defend. It always looks worse that way. We will have exactly the same time to present that first case. So let's call for your dad to be brought to the stand first.
Yep.
And from there, we'll be able to present that evidence to them directly. We will ask him point blank whether he did it. He was the one that instigated it. See what he responds. He will obviously be prepared, but if he admits then to something, we can at least maybe we present the evidence first,
That might be a good
causing
idea.
shadowing some doubt, and then he'll have to defend. Yes, we will ask him first what he thinks of this evidence. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. All right.
Would it help
That's the plan,
if I said that my god turned me into a dragon?
Is your god gone by any chance?
No, Bahamut, Platinum Dragon, still one of the good ones.
I will keep it in my back pocket. If this becomes something that we need to sway
Okay.
the church on, we will definitely do so.
Two of my friends got visited by Tyr just yesterday, the god of justice. So
Okay, too many god appearances start to make it sound like you've actually got a terrible case of sort of substance abuse. We really
Tyr
have
may or
to-
may not owe me a favor. Just saying.
Right. I will keep that in mind. Let me do the talking, and you keep finding me sort of bombshell pieces of evidence.
Gotcha.
And you see the him sort of prepare himself, and he goes up and he talks to one of the attendants outside the door to the judges, and you see them chat. The guard nod and walk back in the room with all the judges, and coming back, you see the lawyer say, "All right, it's been handled. We've got your dad on the stand first, and we have first go of prosecution
Okay.
there, and hopefully we can trick them into zone of truthing him if he tries to get around it. But we'll have to see how we go there."
Yeah. Also, DM, do bad solo. Bad. Don't give him a reroll. The bag of necessity. It's not opening with new evidence or anything.
Not at the moment.
Alright. I'll wander over to the party members that are closest to like the balustrade or whatever it's called. Probably Claymore and Xandar. So I think the god thing, maybe back pocket last ditch just before trial by combat. I told the lawyer that you guys are both like this with Tyr, like this. Mace of Justice.
Just tap the top of the mace. Pure gold.
Yeah, it didn't seem to go over too well. He seems to think that maybe I don't know. I get the sense that he thought I was bullshitting. about the whole god thing. But yeah,
A man that lies for the living definitely comes upon trust very difficultly.
all right. Other plan is because there's the public is in the courtroom at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, at the moment there's a soft murmur as most of the public sits there in awe. You see that all of the seats are filled. There's not even spaces against next to any of your colleagues and your friends as every spot is filled up by the public who watch on in great anticipation. And you did hear some murmurs of dissent as your dad's lawyer made his case.
Okay. So Xandar Claymore, I don't know where Ren is. She was in the room before, but I don't know where she's gone.
Done a disappearing trick.
Yeah. So
filling
my
the
only
pockets.
yeah, probably check your pockets, everyone. My other plan is I have my helm with me, and there will be some people in, like some of the commoners who would know of Red Helm. I was thinking of just placing it out onto the table so that they know that exactly what I stand for to help with swaying public opinion.
Are you gonna put your helm on the?
I am
your
thinking
table?
about it. It's like
You're gonna do an Iron Man moment.
pretty much.
I might.
Are you eating a cheeseburger while you do this?
Man, if I had one.
Look, I've still got Bane prepped, but by the looks of how this courtroom is stacked, that's a risky play.
Yeah.
Shouting pineapple is also a bit of a random giveaway that something's about to go down.
Yeah. I think our best bet might be Bear shouting trial by combat.
I mean, what is the
So,
rules of
mate.
trial by combat? In
Yeah.
is it just Bear fighting the father?
I would think we would have a stand of great chance if it was Bear fighting my father.
There is definitely stand-ins and representatives.
Yeah,
and,
definitely stand in.
yeah.
It could even be us as a group fight, a group of other people, or
And a city of nobles like this doesn't survive by anybody being able to challenge them. They will only accept that challenge if it's in their favor.
So yeah, just be aware that your dad may have a champion prepped,
okay. Just keep an eye.
not visible.
But we killed Annabeth though. We took out a dragon. Okay, we didn't have any help from anyone except maybe like my god turning into a dragon. But we took down that dragon by ourselves.
Yeah, but a trial by combat could very much be a one-on-one.
True.
All rise! As
Keep an eye out for the actual casting the spell when they cast the zone trick spell. When I run shit.
the guys running, we quickly run back to your
Oh.
your table as your lawyer sort of motions to you to get back there quickly, and the judges again walk into the stage one by one, taking their seats. You may all take your seats now, thank you.
Is it somewhat not standing room only, but like Claymore's deliberately not trying to sit down and just hovering?
If you wanted to stand at the back of the room, there's some space, but if you want to stand anywhere close to the action, you will need to be sitting.
Now you wish you'd brought the chance lines, don't you?
I've got the chance, lads.
He's sitting there with like a bunch of just like weapons poking out of his cloak. Just
Nothing along the sides.
you could make a case for it. Make a performance check just to see how well you position yourself there to not be obviously trying to prepare yourself for battle.
A performance check, huh?
Yeah. You're trying to fit in, or you could do like a deception check if that's better for you.
Stealth?
Yeah, blending into the background. I can see that. You could give me a stealth. I love the stat negotiation.
That's 14.
With the 14, you start to you get about halfway down the court in the sitting area, and suddenly, as you begin to walk closer, the guards just may lock eyes with you as they begin to hover their hands on their weaponry and motion for you to get back.
Why did that roll with advantage? Why did that roll 2 dice from within? Roll 20. No. Don't know. I'm proficient in it.
Yeah, so
That's with a +5 too, so it wasn't a great roll.
yeah, you managed to get yourself about to halfway in the sitting area, waiting for them to all approach. All right. As we have seen, there is now the time to call for a witness. The prosecution has called for their first witness, which is Master Todd himself. Please, Master Todd, if you could make your way to the stand, we can begin the prosecution's trial of the witness. And you see the guards slowly bring up your father to the stage and into a seat that's ready for him to be prosecuted in. As he settles down, the lawyer says, "All right, so we position our evidence, and we see how he responds, and we try and catch him out in a lie. You happy with that approach?"
Stone of truth. We doing that still?
Well, we'll try as best as we can. If we catch him in a lie, we'll be able to get that down, and from there in, it's a no-brainer.
All right.
All right, let's go. And he says, "Ladies and gentlemen of the court and your honors, I call this man before you here today simply because he is not a good man. And what a better man to tell you that than the man himself. Behind any of the protection of his lawyer, we can ask today the questions we really all want to know. Starting off simple, we'll ask this question. Did you ever love your wife?" And you see your dad kind of puzzle at that question, not expecting that angle exactly. And he says, "Well, certainly I did. I loved her. She was my joy. She was my life. Without her, there hasn't been a day that shone as brightly as when she was still alive." And you see again his hands cover his eyes as the lawyer says, "You say that though, but then why do we have evidence of you providing a date and a time to those bandits, positioning exactly where your wife was going to be offed?" And you hear the people in the courtroom gasp. The judges also say, "Let me see that," as he takes the evidence of that note over to the judges. And they say, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is surely enough to showcase that this man is a liar. A man that loves his wife does not give the time and place for her murderers to come and find her. Surely you can see that, if not a sure sign of guilt, this is enough of a reason to not trust the word of this man. I petition a zone of truth."
Here.
The crowd again goes, "Yeah!" Quiet in the court! As the gavel goes down onto the table. He says, I will not have that kind of commotion in my court. We will have a civil proceedings here. If we do not have civility, we will remove all of the public participants from this trial. Do you understand?" And the courtroom settles down a little bit. You see him turn to your lawyer and say, "I will Can you make a persuasion check for me, Red, on behalf of your lawyer?
Oh Jesus!
You can well, your lawyer will definitely get a +3 to this. Persuasion is definitely a
Bless.
very good stat for them.
Bless.
Are you trying to? You can't. Is it
No,
less a
'cause-
touch spell?
So I have a +4. So +3 for the thingy would be a 21.
Yes. Awesome. So he says, "I will grant it." As he says, "I hereby incite the zone of truth." From his podium, he removes a small little sphere. He presses a button on the sphere, and you see it sort of expand out, popping out, showcasing gears and mechanisms inscribed with runes internally. And he places it on the podium, and you see a area of glowing, sort of a glowing zone appear inside the perimeter, which is your father. And he says, "You have 10 minutes, and then it is done." Your lawyer says, "Ladies and gentlemen, now that we know this man tells the truth, I will ask again, did you love your wife?" And I'm going to roll in secret to see whether or not your father makes his save.
What I'm gonna do?
Hey, while you're-
so-
I was going to say, while you're rolling in secret, just want to explain to chat what happens if he makes the save or doesn't make the save here.
So
Yes.
if he makes the save, he is entitled to not be compelled by the zone of truth. So he will not necessarily have to tell the truth that of anything that's asked of him.
The
If
whole
he
truth?
fails, and nothing but the truth. But if he does make the save, if he doesn't, he will be compelled to answer truthfully or abstain from answering. It doesn't force him to speak, but it does force him to say truthful things when he does speak.
Does the caster know if it succeeds or not?
I believe they don't, not necessarily, unless you can find evidence to the contrary.
I should know that I literally just read the spell, but I'm just like a little bit
I've
sweaty
actually-
right now. My body's sweating so much right now. I'm so stressed. I'll put the... Create a magical zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius. Be sensitive until the spell ends. A creature that enters the spell area for the first time will start its turn. They must make a charisma saving throw on a failed save.
You do know whether they succeed or fail. So that's fine.
Okay.
So you
The cleric will know.
you do not see a reaction from the cleric as they cast the spell. So you assume that either they're abetting your father, or they are they know that it's actually being done properly. When the question is asked, did you love your wife? Your dad smiles and he says, Of course I loved my wife. I loved her dearly. Your lawyer looks back at the courtroom and looks out to everybody there, and he looks back at your father, and with a sad look in his eye, he says, "Did you love her when you had her killed?" Your father looks around the courtroom. You see him spending a bit of time. His normal surety in his answers disappears. The certainty of his position, for a moment, only to your trained eye, Jason, you notice his facade slip a little bit, showing the man underneath scared for his future.
It's at that point, if I catch his eye, I'm going to just softly place the helm on the table in front of me as he looks at me.
as you do so, there is a split reaction. Your dad, again, trying hard to maintain his composure against your open defamation of his legacy with your red helm. But simultaneously, you hear gasps from the Watchers as you hear the name Red Helm. Is that Red? Is that the helm of Red? As they begin whispering, they gossip.
It's mainly Claymore whispering that.
You hear the gavel go down again. Order in the court. Again, I will not have a mockery of this. This is your last warning. I will remove you all from this courtroom. And he says, answer the question. And your dad says to the judge, I do not feel that it is appropriate for me to answer such a vile question, considering that it goes against my honor. And the lawyer says, his lawyer says, indeed, Your Honor, I ask that we object from the line of questioning. It is purely trying to get at the emotion of my client, and we're not trying to get at the facts of the matter. I would request that we focus on the facts alone and not the emotions of the thing. The judge looks over to you, to your lawyer, and says, all right, well, indeed, let us stray away from this. Let's focus on the facts. If you do not have facts to go off of, we will end this line of questioning. He says, Your Honor, I will happily continue upon another line of questioning. If that is not the question that you can answer, I will request a few things that are just trying to hit at the crux of what happened during that time. Firstly, a simple question. Did you pay to have your wife murdered? Again, you see your father begin to sweat. A little bit of questioning. And his lawyer shouts, objection! Leading the witness.
How? There's not leading the witness. It's asking a question.
The judge says, overruled. And your father looks to the lawyer. The crowd again begins to whisper as they go, and you see that your dad is sort of just trying to just figure out any way possibly out of this. He looks over to whispers,
you. I think he did it, in hopes that sort of catches fire across the.
You hear a few people be like, "He's guilty. Surely he's guilty. What other excuse does he have?" As your dad looks over to you, Red, and he says, "Son, for all that you may believe I did wrong, know that there's nothing I would have ever done to jeopardize you. You have always been my legacy, always been the future of House Todd. When I stopped being the Todd, it was always going to be you. And all I wish now is for this foolishness to end, and for us to go back to our life together." And you hear the judge say, "Will you answer the question, or do you refuse? In this case, abstaining is surely as good as an admission of guilt." And your dad says, "Your Honor, I cannot answer this, for the mere thought of it is just too much for me to handle. I am but a man who loved his wife, and who has in his life wished only for his son to be by his side as the leader." And you hear the people start to yell, "Rubbish! Rubbish! This man is a murderer!" The guy yells, "Order!" And you Claymore, you've been inciting a little bit of chaos in there, haven't you?
How dare you besmirch my reputation?
Go ahead and do a little persuasion roll to see what effect you've had upon the masses.
Persuasion.
It's too far away to guide.
I wanna touch.
Tis an 18.
This persuasion. You with the sort of hints that you've been giving to the people, you start to see them slowly being whipped up into a little bit of a frenzy, as you hear one man yell, "For Redhelm, we must make this right," and you hear the other people start to yell, "Justice!" And again, you hear, "Redhelm, Redhelm, Redhelm." The judge quickly, "Order in the court!" But he is drowned out by the cacophony of the shouts that quickly lead off into the rest of the street, as the people gathering outside, held back initially by some guards, quickly realizing that they are outnumbered, as the courtroom is slowly swarmed by more and more people packing in to the court itself. You see the judge, immediately recognizing the danger of the situation, begin to leave along with his accomplices, as the people swarm into the courtroom. You're left there with your father sitting isolated within his enclosure from his trial, as you are surrounded by people yelling your name, your personality, your persona, the thing that you were when you were not of House Todd, the thing you were when you despised what your father had made, when you said no to the legacy that your father had set forth before you. The red helm sitting upon the table, a beacon to the resistance against the current status, as you again pick the helmet up, holding it up into the air as the masses start to cheer, and they allow you a moment of quiet to speak in front of them.
I put place on the helm, and I look at my father. Is all of this worth your life?
Son, here as I am, I've never been one to want to give my life for anything, and in this moment I can't say that I want to give my life for this either.
Confess for everyone to hear.
He looks around, and with a smile that doesn't quite reach the edges of his ears, you see a glimmer in his eye, a moment of realization, an epiphany. He looks out to the crowd, and he says to them, "You look upon me as the enemy. I am but a humble merchant. Your enemy is not me, your enemy is lack of money. I am superior to you in every single way. Beneath me, you are like worms. You are nothing to me. You are not competition. You are not something that I fear." And you see immediately as he begins talking, the crowd again begins to stir. A few of the people keep pouring in. You see the pressure of the people pushing against the railing, as one person begins to sort of jump up, trying to get over.
I'll get
railing.
in between them. Hold!
Come at me if you think you want justice. Come at me if you think you are man enough and you're worthy of it. For I am superior, and I prove it by even in the moment of your greatest frustration, you sit here and whimper in front of me. Make a persuasion check, Red, to see if you can beat your father's persuasion check.
Can I guide myself to have it? I would have the clarity of mind, because I am not... I might have whipped up the riot a little bit.
Yeah, so I will say that your dad is probably also quite versed in manipulation, but that's pretty damn good too.
I'll do my D4, 12, my guidance. 22!
Oh, yeah.
22!
Two.
That's some, that's some pretty good rolls right now.
Oh!
Your father rolling a 20 to your 22.
That's a dirty 20, not a natural 20. That's a dirty 20.
That's my elvish side, baby. Coming out.
Finds
Charming as fuck.
himself facing the masses with your charisma, bolstering the people. Says, "Come on, surely, fight me, attack me, you fools!" As you stand before them, holding out your hand, the beacon of their resistance, you manage in this moment to hold control over the riot, as your father fails to incite his own demise.
Father, you've just revealed yourself for the craven coward that you are. You would choose this way out over justice.
There is no justice here, son. Justice would be allowing me my fair trial, not sitting here with your mob trying to dispose me. You're just afraid that, given a proper trial, I would win.
I could have let them have you.
Indeed, but
I
surely
didn't.
that is no less an act of bravery, just not letting a crowd of senseless baboons murder me.
You... I don't even know if you deserve this justice anymore.
Are you man enough to do what I've done to our enemies, to remove them? Or are you going to take the easy way out and let someone else handle my punishment?
Serve this just as red. Serve this just as cold.
I would like to scream in rage, ready to go.
I come up to him. I stand before him, warhammer in my hands.
Hold person on Dad.
Yeah, he holds rigid.
Are you just yelling bankrupt? That you're declaring bankrupt?
It's still
Stand-
a wisdom save.
Okay, so my dad has to make a wisdom save.
We're actually casting here. Alright. Not just declaring hold person, we're casting hold person.
He rolls a 12.
To beat a 13
Doesn't make it.
Oh.
He's stiff as a board.
for 1 minute. And I'd like to think that this kicks in just as Red like really gets up close.
Father, I am man enough to know that giving you what you want is not justice. I am man enough to know that once justice is served, that I can move on with my life and not give you a second thought. I am perhaps even man enough to offer you a glimmer of forgiveness because you clearly know not what you do.
You see him squirm against the whole person without success.
I think there will be no justice held here today.
He squirms, trying more aggressively to escape. What are you trying to do?
If you would confess, I would give you what you want, or what the court's ruling would be. More than likely, exactly what you want.
Can paralyzed people speak?
Make a persuasion check.
Tip him over.
I really want to. I really just wanted to like fucking poof, take
Couch him in.
that his head, but no, I can't do that. And
I can.
guidance again because cheat.
Because you can, yeah.
Because I can. Because I'm gonna need it. Because that's a 14. 16.
You see slowly his head shake against the pressure of the whole person as he denies you this justice.
Very well. If this is what you want. I'll walk over. Is my lawyer still in the room?
Yeah, I mean, he's trapped between a horde of people and your confrontation. He's kind of like standing to the side, not trying to be involved too much, but he's there.
Okay. Poor dude.
The other lawyer, if it gives you any confidence, is also sort of standing in the corner, trying very much to distance himself from the man who's about to get mobbed.
I stand, not looking at anyone in particular, and I look up, like praying for some guidance from Bahamut on my course of action, because I know what my faith demands, and I know what my heart demands.
In the moment of prayer and contemplation, as you quickly, check in and make sure that you're doing what's right, you feel the telltale coin burning, a warm, reassuring warmth in your pocket. The sign that has been with you the whole journey, that you are being watched over by your God.
Do I turn into a dragon?
You do not. That would be a hell of a justice.
I know.
Did the bag open?
Yeah, I know. That was going to be my next question. My literal next question.
You look at your bag. Within it, you see it open.
Oh.
You see a draft of a liquid. Inscribed upon it are the ruins of truth, indicating some sort of elixir of such. As you see what's in your hand now, you see your father at the moment of this intersection. The bag has opened.
I grab
He's still frozen.
I grab the potion and I rush over and I shove it down his, well, not the whole bottle, but like the liquid to get it into his throat.
Unable to avoid it, he struggles trying to break the hold. Unable to, he eventually has to swallow. You see the liquid go down his throat as his Adam apple bobs, and you see in his eyes as they widen a distress, a panic, as you see him realize the weight of what you just poisoned him with. As the hold person wanes off, you see him regaining his consciousness. He looks over to you and he says, "No, please don't. Please don't."
Can we get the judges back in, or are they gone?
They are gone.
Yeah. Confess for your crimes.
I have done many bad things. I have stolen money from people. Is that enough?
Everything.
I have manipulated. I murdered your mother. Is that what you want? Is that what you needed from me? Do you know why I murdered her? Do you know why I had them slit her throat on that road? Because she was damaging you. She was making you weak. You were never gonna be the son that I needed to rule my empire. I needed someone like me, somebody strong enough to make the decisions that nobody else could. And yet, the one thing I did to try and help you, to try and take away that influence of absolute pity, you've taken that and tried to turn it against me. You've tried to prosecute me for the one thing I did to try and help you. And yet here I stand, forcing me to confess for the best thing I ever did for you? Yes, I did it. I've done it all. Every sacrifice I've made, every choice I've made has been for you, has been for our family. We have become filthy rich as a result of my help. Every bit of good you do with the money that I raised, you will remember me. You will remember that the only way that you were able to do that good is because what I did, what I sacrificed, the choices I made. So go, serve your justice, and live with the fact that for every good thing you've done, know that it was on the back of tortured individuals, people that were lost, stolen, and cheated from. You will be building from my legacy. You'll be using my legacy. And yet, I will sit there and whatever pain you cause me, and I will know contently that that thought will linger in your mind far after I'm gone.
The only thing that my mother taught me that you obviously never were taught or learnt was to leave the world better than you found it. And I will take your money and I will use it to lift up the people of this city, the people of the Sword Coast. I shove like a gag in his mouth, so I am talking. You might think that it will keep me up at night knowing where the money came from. It won't. And from now on, after hearing your confession, I want nothing more to do with you. And I walk away into the crowd.
And with that,
No.
we end tonight's session.
The mic
Hello.
drop walk
Come
off.
back next week to see all the blood.
Right?
He literally just fed into the walls. I was like, right, now I'm going to throw the gel ring. It's going to get ugly.
So we end there with the crowd not being held back anymore. The court case well and truly over. Red Helm getting his confession. So from all of us here at Raging Rolls, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who tuned in to listen tonight. And it's been awesome to have you all along for the journey, and it's been great to see some of the chat and people jumping in. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the outcome of this as much as I'm sure that we did. And
So
we
sweaty.
very much... Me too. I had like 3 characters there. That were...
He did phenomenal, Robin.
Well,
You did really well, Robin.
Amazing, Robin.
Robin and Dan.
No,
Yeah,
it was
not
top
bad.
effort. Top effort.
And yeah, hopefully next session we'll be able to see the conclusion of tonight and see where this all leads to.
Oh, epic night. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everyone hanging out in the chat. Like Dan Doom said, hang around. Follow us join us in the Discord. Follow our Twitter, Twitch, and we will let you know when we're live again. Yeah,
Next Thursday, same time, same place.
that's when.
Man,
Oh,
that was heavy.
that was so heavy.
How much were you itching to hit something, Rod?
Oh, you have no idea. I've rolled like 3 nat 20s because I'm so itchy that and nervous. I kept rolling dice. I'm like, I've rolled 2 dice, like real dice, all night. Probably about 40 times. I'm like, no, sit down. I'm like, no, jump in, and I like, it's a weird twitch. There's another nat 20. I'm up to like 5 now.
Try-
It's ridiculous.
We'll have to find a fight club next session for Beowulf because
Oh no, this is my next session is my session. I'm going to hell on your father.
Goodness.
All right, we're out.
I'd like to cast Hold Person on Bear.
So we're
Someone
out.
else in the party's gonna die.
Not yet. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, Rangers.